Good morning. This is the time and place for zoning cases hearing for February 12th, 2020. My name is Bradley Collin. I will be conducting the hearing as the hearing officer. We have one case scheduled for today, and the relevant exhibits are posted on the panel located directly behind me. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms which have been provided by the front door and submitted to our planning assistant. I would like to inform everyone that the official proceedings of the zoning hearing officer's hearing are recorded as part of the public record. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by use of public notices which were mailed to property owners and occupants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The request we have today is a request for a variance. It's an application to allow the conversion of a portion of an existing attic into 201 square feet of floor area, habitable space, within an existing 1,078 square foot single-family residence without providing the two covered and enclosed parking spaces located in the R1R restricted residential zone. In order to be considered for a variance, four findings have to be shown that they can be met. The first finding is that the strict application of the provisions of any such ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance. Second, that there are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intended use or development of the property that do not apply generally to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. Third, the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. And fourth, the granting the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of the ordinance. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meets the criteria just described, then the hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings of fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. The hearing will proceed as follows. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give an analysis, and make a recommendation. The applicant will then be asked to come forward stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time limit if needed. Others in support of or opposition to the application and interested parties will then be asked to come forward, again, speaking name and address clearly, and they'll be given a 3-minute time limit. And then lastly, if the applicant will be given the opportunity to make any closing comments, if desired, in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers, and that'll be a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed in case either taken under submission or a decision may be made. At this time, I'd like to have our associate planner, Betty, please give us your presentation.
Sure. Good morning. The variance case number is PVAR 1921-92-2. The address is 2408 Sleepy Hollow, and the applicant is Camila Oliveira, and the owners are Randall and Rowena Abarro. The applicant is requesting approval of a standards variance for the following: to allow the conversion of a portion of an existing attic into 201 square feet of floor area, habitable space, within an existing single-family residence without providing two covered and enclosed parking spaces. The existing attached one-car garage is approximately 10 feet 6 inches wide and 20 feet 11 inches long. It is located strictly between the interior property line and a wall shared by a living room and bedroom of the subject house. The code requires, in the R1R restricted residential zone, that upon a change or enlargement of a building which creates additional floor area, additional parking spaces shall be provided for such new floor area unless said parking exceeds the requirements of the parking chapter. The CEQA status, the project is exempt from environmental review as a Class 1 existing facilities exemption pursuant to State CEQA Section 15301E1 because it involves converting 201 square feet of an existing attic into habitable space that will not result in an increase of more than 50% of the floor area of the existing single-family residence. The existing residence was constructed in 1938, and the applicant will need design review approval for the conversion of the attic into floor area. Comments. No comments were received from other divisions or departments, and as of today, no comments were received by the owners or occupants within the 500-foot public noticing radius. Staff believes that the 4 required findings for the variance can be made in a positive manner, and as such, staff recommends approval of the variance request with conditions. And as of right now, the conditions of approval are that the development shall be in substantial accord with its plan submitted with the application and presented at the hearing, except for any modifications as may be required to meet specific code standards or other conditions stipulated herein to the satisfaction of the planning hearing officer. That all necessary licenses, for example, building, fire, engineering, etc., shall be obtained from the Building and Safety section, and all construction shall be in compliance with the Glendale Building Code and all other applicable regulations. That any expansion or modification of the structure or use shall require a new variance application. Expansion shall constitute adding new floor area or any physical changes as determined by the planning hearing officer with concurrence of the community development director. That the premises be maintained in a clean, orderly condition free of weeds, trash, and graffiti. That design review approval shall be obtained prior to the issuance of a building permit. The premises shall be made available to any authorized city personnel, fire, police, neighborhood services, etc., for inspection to ascertain that all conditions of approval of this variance are complied with. If building, sidewalk, curb or gutter, fencing or landscape areas, etc., adjacent to the site are damaged during the course of construction on public or private property, the damage shall be repaired to the satisfaction of the planning hearing officer for private property and the director of public works for public property.
Thank you. I do have a question.
Sure.
Condition number 5 says that the design review board approval shall be obtained. Does staff believe that it's possible that this could also be exempted?
Yes. Prior to working on the variance, we also worked on the actual design of the project and along with our design studio, and we do believe that it will be exempt from the administrative design review and design review board.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing. I have 2 speaker cards. I'm going to ask the applicant. Is it Camilla or Camilla? Camilla, if you can come forward, please. Remember, state your name and address for the record. And if you can go through the findings, please.
My own address or the property address?
Your address.
My name is Camila Oliveira. My address is 3515 South Sepulveda Boulevard, Suite 1100, Los Angeles. And request to allow the conversion of the attic space into the existing single-family house.
Okay, thank you. Can you please go through the required findings, please, for your case?
Sorry?
Can you please go through the 4 required findings for your case?
The 4 required.
They're on the report that I emailed.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Like the strict application of the provision in any such ordinance would result in this one.
Mhm.
and practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships inconsistent with the general purpose or intent of the ordinance. There are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intent, use, or development of the property that not apply generally to other properties in the same zone or neighborhood. The grading of the variance will not be material detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. The grading of the variance will not be contrary to the object of the ordinance.
Can you also please include what the responses are to each of those findings?
Yeah, you can go through each.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Those are basically what makes or breaks the case, is being able to show that those 4 findings can be met.
yes, sorry, I was a little nervous.
It's okay, no worries.
Yes. The strict application of the provision is the ordinance would not have like any problem with the neighborhood with the ordinance. I don't know if I could explain this. Good. The intent is not
You can actually,
conflict.
yeah, you can read through each one of those paragraphs.
Yes. The strict application is not like I just read.
Yeah, under each finding, I would just read each portion.
Again?
Yeah, just read.
You read what the findings are, but not the responses.
Oh, okay. The I
It
don't
would
have.
be on page 5.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I should
No
have
worries.
go over this before. The applicant is requesting approval of the standards variance to allow the conversion of the portion of the attic, the existing attic, into 201 square feet of floor area with the existing single-family residence without providing true cover and closure parking space. Chapter 30.32 of the zoning code states that upon change or enlargement of the building which creates an increase in floor area, additional parking shall be provided for such a new floor area. In this case, strictly applying the parking standards would result in practical difficulties and unnecessary hardships inconsistent with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance. The existing attached garage is approximately 2 feet deep and 10 feet 6 inches wide, and is 26 feet from the street from the property line. The garage is located on the northwest interior property line and shares a common wall with the living room and bedroom located with the northwest portion of the house. The one-car garage was built set back 0 feet from the northwest interior property line and cannot be expanded in this direction. Widening the garage by expanding its width is easterly direction would require demolish the majority of the living room and bedroom, reducing the floor area of the house. Expanding the garage to comply with the standards present unnecessary hardship because this is requires structural and design alterations to the front-facing facade of the house, including the removal of the unique leaded glass window and elaborate grid pattern. With the proposed modification to the attic, change to the front facade of the house is limited to the introducing of 2 new dormers with windows. No other change to the front of the house are proposed. To deny the variance request would unduly restrict the property owner from achieving a reasonable increase of floor area and restrict flexibility of the residential use. The conversion of 201 square feet of the existing attic into the floor area will allow better and functional use of the property. Number B, there are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved to the intent use of development of the property that not generally apply to the other properties in the same neighborhood because the house was originally constructed in 1938 with attached one-car garage, 0 setback feet from the interior property line. The house would be demolished, compromised, and the house would be demolished to expand the garage to accommodate the additional required cover and enclosure parking space. This would be negatively affect the functionality of the house by reducing circulation in the house and significantly impact the design of the house facing the street. Different options are explored to make a parking code compliant. Whatever each garage uh, expansion or different expansion options reduce the potential code violation. Demolish portion of the existing house or compromise the interior and exterior design of the house, especially the front. Um, the number C is the grading of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injuries to the property or improvement in the neighborhood in which property is located. While converting the portion of the attic into the floor area will increase the total habitable area by 201 square feet. The proposal does not involve altering or expanding the existing building walls, footprint of the building, or hide the envelope. Consequently, the attic conversion will not impact abutting properties or significantly alter the front of the house. Developed in 1938, the house fixtures are attached one-car garages, approximately 1,078 square feet in floor area. The proposed attic conversion will add approximately 201 square feet of habitable space, which will increase the total floor area of the house in approximately 1,279 square feet. The size of the subject house will continue to be modest in size. Additionally, the conversion of the attic space into habitable space is not anticipated to pose a negative impact for one side or street neighborhood parking. The property has an existing 26 feet deep driveway, which can accommodate temporarily parking one side for a vehicle. The objects of the code are intended to allow reasonable development and use of property. Item number D, the grading of the variance will not be contrary to the object of the ordinance because the existing driveway can accommodate temporarily parking for a vehicle on site. To have not utilizing on-street parking. The objective of the code are intended to promote the public's health, safety, and welfare while also allowing reasonable development and use of the property. The proposed attic conversion is designed and integrated with the existing building and the neighborhood. The attic conversion will merely increase the floor area of the house by 201 square feet for a modest size of like 1,279 square feet without altering the existing building size and envelope, footprint, high landscape, or lot coverage. As proposed, the project will not create additional zoning code violation. Grading the variance will be keeping with the objective of ordinance because of the zoning code regulation will be complied with, including but not limited to floor area, radio, lot coverage, height, open space, and parking. Sleepy Hollow Drive is categorized as a local street and city's general plan circulation element. Local streets carry low-level volumes of traffic, and the lack of a required minimum parking space, a two-car garage, at the subject site is not anticipated to negatively impact the traffic congestion on these streets.
Thank you. Was there anything else you wanted to add about the project, or?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Next, speaker slip for Randall Abaro. Did you want to?
Yeah, sure. I'll just chime in.
Good morning. Please state your name and address.
Good
for the
morning.
record.
I'm Randall Abarro, and from 2408 Sleepy Hollow Drive, subject property in Glendale, California. Just speaking on behalf of my wife and I, we purchased a home close to a year now in March of last year, or this year. And with the intended purpose of making it a family home. It's a great family neighborhood. We have 2 kids. So our intention in converting the attic space is basically to provide bedrooms for them as they grow into our home. And we respectfully appreciate the time today, and if we could answer any questions for you and your staff or the community, we'd be happy to.
Okay, thank you very much. I have no other speaker cards. Camilla, can you please come back up real quick? So as Betty read through the conditions of approval, and if I were to make one change to condition number 5, to add in or exemption. So condition number 5 would read, the design review board approval or exemption shall be obtained prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Mm-hmm.
So based off of those conditions of approval, do you understand the conditions of the variance
Yes.
and agree to the conditions of the variance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Based on the findings recommended by staff and the information presented at the hearing today, and I am going to approve the subject variance, subject to the conditions that are outlined in the staff report, with the one change that I made to condition number 5. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing and will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Under the appeals provision, Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision. Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from the Building and Safety section located in our Permit Service Center, located on the same floor. Going to close the public hearing. And this hearing is now officially closed. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. It is 9:55, February 12th. Thank you very much, everyone.